introduction to our girls, and then they will take it from there. They will just present a little bit on who they are, what they're doing, and the relationship, and then we'll open it up to questions. So we're going to zip through it pretty quick. But we have with us today, we have Alexa and Nandisha, and they are from Adler University, and they are our sports performance consultants. We've been working with Adler for about 2 years now, and it's been a gradual, very positive experience where we've been kind of learning a lot of how we want to implement it into our programming for different ages and different levels of our kids. And this winter, we kind of ramped it up a little bit, to say the least, and we're looking forward, and we were looking forward to spring, but we're still trying to do as much as we can via virtual. Obviously, with mental health being a major part of life in general, and very much so now, we believe it's like an invaluable piece of sport, and in any sport and in life. With all the self-doubt and all the naysayers and the negativity out there, what we want to do is empower our youth. We want to give them the confidence, the self-belief, and then support them through their journey into middle school, high school, and obviously on to college. And how we've done that is we have our 2 girls here that work with our olders, youth 13 to high school. And we also have 2 younger, we'll call them coaches, working with our younger teams. We are looking to expand working with all teams within the club throughout this period of time. And we're very excited for the future to raise the awareness. And I'm going to give it over to our girls take it from there. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
So, like Nick said, I'm Nadisha, and I'm in school for mental health counseling, and also sport and health performance. And basically it's an integration of how mental skills can better athletes in their performance, not only in sport, but also as individuals throughout their life. And yeah, I'm happy to be here with everybody, and things are going really well with CCSC, and our athletes are actually beginning to really understand how important the mental health aspect is for sport, and just how important self-care is, especially during this time.
And I'm Alexa. I'm also in the same program as Nadisha. So it combines, we'll both be licensed professional counselors pending graduation, as well as certified mental performance consultants, which is the sport licensure. So outside of here, we also do an internship that focuses solely on mental health and addictions. So we've really enjoyed our time with CCSC so far. Like Nadisha said, the kids are they're really starting to buy into some of the skills, and a lot of the mental skills we work on, such as like communication, focus, motivation, emotion regulation, are all really important, especially at these early stages for kids who want to play in college, want to play pro. It kind of gives them the mental edge as they work on their physical skills. It's important to work on their mental skills as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for the introduction. So I'm going to kick off with some questions. So again, anyone that's signed in, please don't be shy. Ask any questions you like. But I'm going to start off with, especially where we're at right now in this time. And I think even as our coaches meeting this morning, we all could do a bit of help with this. But give us, between the 2 of you, which would be 6 altogether, give me some 3 tips each just for day-to-day in isolation.
You want to go first, Nadisha?
Sure. So the 3 tips that I would give, and that I'm actually applying myself, is to engage in an activity that just brings you pure joy, whatever that looks like, and whatever your interests are. I know a lot of things that we've been talking to our athletes about during this week is really taking the time during your free time now to engage in something that you once were interested in but just didn't have the time for, or start dabbling in things that you did want to begin, and new interests, and also listing 5 things that you're grateful for around you, like simple things like coffee or fuzzy slippers, whatever that might look like. Finding just gratefulness in those little things just kind of reminds us just how lucky we are being able to stay inside and stay healthy, and just find the silver lining in just the pandemic that's going on right now. And then lastly, I would say connecting with friends or any family members outside of the household. So you're getting some social interaction in, because as humans, we crave social interaction. So even with the people at the house, just a nice change in discussions, perspectives, maybe even scenery. So yeah.
I like it. Have you been getting out at all?
Here and there, yes. I take a walk to like Walgreens every now and then. It's getting nicer. Well, except for this week with the snow, it's getting nicer as time goes on. So just getting out and doing some rollerblading, or if you have a bike, get out there and bike, walk, anything like that.
Love it. Excellent. Thank you.
And then my 3 tips. First off, try to keep a routine, whatever that may look like. Find a way to get a good night's sleep, kind of keep the same sleep and wake times, same meal times, getting in some exercise, scheduling your work as well as your play. It's just as important to find things to take care of yourself, like Nadisha said, and scheduling in some social time, whether that's just a family sit down after dinner or calling people, whatever may work for you. And number 2, be kind to yourself during this time. Like, it's pretty easy to get on social media and see someone who has been able to use their time they're baking bread, they've learned a new language, they've tried all these different skills, or they're doing all these things, and maybe you're not able to do all of those things. So it's okay to be like, I don't need to be extremely productive during this moment. I'm getting my laundry done. Maybe that's what that looks like to you. And if negative emotions are coming up, like, oh, I should be doing more, I should be doing more as a parent, maybe like I'm not scheduling enrichment activities for my young children every day, like that's okay. Yeah. It's okay to just like, I'm doing the best I can with what I've got in this moment. And a lot of us, you have a lot to balance. Everyone's adjusting to being in front of their computer all day now, working on Zoom. Maybe you can't work right now and you can find other things to kind of take that time for yourself, but it's okay. Whatever you're feeling, it's all gonna be okay. Eventually, we will get out of this. And 3, avoid news overload. I think I know it's affected my family, with my parents regularly calling, like, did you see this? Did you see that? If you're someone who is kind of on the news stream all day, every day, maybe take a few hours away from that. Or maybe it's I'm gonna check in with the news every other day instead of every day. So just kind of see what that looks like for you. If you're saying like, I am getting really overwhelmed by the constant information that's not necessarily new, it's just repetitive, find a way to kind of take a step back from all of that and give yourself a chance to breathe.
Absolutely spot on. I love it. Great 6 answers. And I just want to touch on the one is being kind to yourself. And there's a lot going on saying you should be doing this and learning this and, not wasting time. But there's so many people going through more difficulties with families and jobs and, and anyone that may have the coronavirus. And I think it is just be kind and just take those time outs for yourself and that. Really, really well answered. I like that. Again, anyone that came on, stick some questions in the chat room. But I'm going to move on to my next one, which is a little bit more target for our parents watching. So, girls, what can our parents do to feel more supportive and aware of their child's, potential state of mind? And I know that's always very difficult. The kids might be hiding it from them, but how can they, or what signs may they look out for and things like that?
So we kind of talked about, like when Nadisha and I were discussing this question, we talked about staying connected and maybe check in, but don't check in too often. So maybe that's your family has a scheduled time, like, oh, we're all going to do dinner at 5. And then we're going to talk about each other's days, kind of like how you would if you'd been out and about all day. So I know your kid will probably be in their room for a lot of the day, but maybe not going in every other hour. Like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? How's school? How's this? Kind of doing one big check-in might be a place to start.
Mm-hmm. And going off of that, like just, having open-ended questions for them. Because a lot of times, like when we narrow it in, it gets comfortable for our athletes or, children to just be like, yes, no, like whatever, just to kind of get you out of their hair. So what comes to mind for me when I think of open-ended, just simple questions for them is, at the end of the day, maybe asking like what went well, especially if, like Alexa said, you're setting time aside to check in with them. yeah, what went well today, you know, what didn't go well, just so they have some more things like to think about, and that gets them kind of a little bit more warm to opening up. Just say, you know, if they're not willing to open up in that moment, maybe.
And with open-ended questions, I think, like, at least when we ask the athletes questions, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
What's fine? What's good?
Yeah.
What's okay? What's not okay? You could also ask, like, what was a challenge today for you? Just something where they can't just say like one word and kind of shoo you away.
Literally challenging that answer that they give you.
Maybe we can put together a couple of questions like that, maybe, you know, for social media and that, and we can send out to the parents to help them maybe with that as well.
Yeah, we can absolutely do something like that. We also talked about, like, as a parent, sharing your own feelings about your day. Like, maybe you had a really crappy meeting and, like, well, you know, I'm feeling really frustrated with how today went. They might respond well to that, or like, oh, well, like, my mom's frustrated. That gives me space to feel frustrated as well. And then kind of going off of that, whatever feeling they do choose to share, we tend to want to solve really quick. Like, if a kid says, oh, I'm feeling really angry today, then it's kind of common sense. So you jump in with, like, well, what made you angry? What can we do? What's wrong? Maybe just saying, like, oh, like, thanks for sharing that you feel angry. It's okay to feel angry sometimes, and not going quick for the problem solving mode.
Yeah, I like that. And I mean, like, so I have a 10-year-old niece that lives with my mom and my sister, and I've said to her through this is like, you know, this is for all our players, you know, watching and listening, is be kind to your parents too, because they're going through a lot. And maybe, like you say, ask them, how are they doing? Because this is difficult for every single one of us.
Right.
And I think it's also good for the kids to know that, you know, you'll see a fun post later on from our coaches morning show this week. You know, we're all going through it as well, so, and we're there for you, but it's everyone's in this together. Which leads me to my last question, and again, those that are watching, please stick in a question in the chat and we can answer it for you. But I'm going to finish on this question. If no one else answers, then we'll be done, and the girls can kind of finish off with any last thoughts. But one of the big things we added in through this virtual piece was the one-on-ones with the players, and some parents have sat in, and you guys can go into more detail. But what does a one-on-one Zoom conversation look like at this moment that our parents and our kids can kind of sign up for?
Yeah. So right now, this whole week, we have been doing recap sessions with all of our athletes, and they're all individual sessions. So pretty much just, you know, this whole week has been tailored around checking in on how they're adjusting, just where they are in terms of their emotions, their feelings. Are they very high stress, overwhelmed, or low stress, low motivation? Like I said, what people are struggling right now in general, I think, is just motivation to just keep that steady schedule. And so, yeah, I think these individual sessions, those who are very interested in it, is an opportunity for them to work on themselves more. And that also creates a little bit more buy-in for what we're doing, because like I said before, it's not just for sport, it's for your whole life, kind of all these lessons, how to just conduct your life effectively and conversations and relationships. So I'll let Alexa answer that one as well.
We've also, through like the check-in, we did, like Nadisha said, a mental health check-in and overall what's going on. We also checked in with the skills we worked on in the winter session with the kids, which was specifically at a team level, but was verbal communication, nonverbal, listening, coach-athlete communication, which involved, we did like scripts of how to approach your coach if you have a concern or a question, or they made a decision, like they pulled you out of the game and you don't agree, how to approach them about that and have a productive conversation. We also did some goal setting and attentional focus and focus shifting during a game. So I think especially right now with everyone switching to online and Zoom, and teachers are trying to figure out how they're gonna talk to students, and everyone's trying to figure out, communication is a huge thing going on right now. So that coach athlete script that we kind of gave them is going to be very useful for when they do have an issue with a teacher, or they're not able to learn well from however the teacher's approaching Zoom. So we went through those skills, saw if they were, asked if they were using them, how they might be able to use them differently. Kids gave varying answers. So yeah, that's kind of how that started off. And then I'll let Nadisha kind of talk about where we're headed with individual.
Yeah. So, and going off of Alexa, that coach athlete communication portion, it was perfect that we added it in during the winter season because of where we are now. So it really comes in handy with teachers, with coaches, even with family, just getting your point across, being able to relate effectively and have constructive conversation. So going forward, we've kind of allowed work on during this time. During our first intro session of the winter season, we gave them the opportunity to think about what they want to work on as a team, but then also at an individual level, what they feel that they can improve on. So again, thankfully we did that, and so we brought a lot of that to the forefront now, and a lot of athletes were like, yeah, I think I need to work on that, or yeah, that's actually gotten better, I want to work on something different. So just giving them the room to kind of figure out and maneuver their journey right now, and what they can just benefit from the most right now. And like I said, like all these skills are life skills, so and we've told them like it applies all around the spectrum. So a lot of things that we've heard are, of course, motivation. Some things like goal setting, focus is huge, just maintaining focus on school or sport, and just having a structured schedule to get those things done and just stay on track. And I think right now a huge thing is emotional regulation as well. Just managing your stress, your feelings. If you're really overwhelmed, how are you? Makes sense. Expressing them outwardly, but also internally.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that is which most of our kids and parents may not know, is that we've been doing coaches workshops, helping them individually, but then also helping them to understand what our kids may be going through and how to communicate better as well. And I think you guys have seen an improvement. I've seen an improvement, and hopefully our kids have seen that improvement. But we've got no questions coming in. That's okay. And if you guys do have questions later on, just email your coaches. They can pass them on. We can set up our one-on-ones. But just to kind of finish off, it's okay to feel the way we're feeling right now. But stay positive. Speak up, share your emotions, and we're a resource. We're here for you. The girls are here for you. They've done an outstanding job. So thank you very much, girls, for all the time and effort you put in. And we're excited to see where this goes. And we will probably do another one of these in a week or two and see where it goes from there. So have a great weekend. Viewers, thank you again for joining in. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys soon.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.